Ladies and gentlemen, here is the latest bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News.
Step into the sand.
This is Macabre Grimoire with Ari Show, Travis Nye, and Robert Mehling.
There were 14 young people who were playing football on a small field in the bottom of a little valley in the village of Flatwoods. One of the kids looked up and he said, "What on earth is that?" Round the edge of a hill behind the village, the north of the village, lower than the peak of that hill or the one opposite, came a glowing red object which was pulsing from cherry red to bright orange according to all the witnesses.
Hey everybody, welcome to Macabre Grimoire, Chapter 11, The Flathead Monster.
Flathead?
I don't know, what are we calling
The
it?
Flatwoods monster.
Flatwoods, Can we do that again?
I say just roll with it.
We're rolling with it.
Flathead monster.
But I've been like, so is it the Braxton County monster or is it the Flatwoods monster? So it's just like I've been having to like research both because some stuff is underneath one name and some stuff is under the other name. Which they just make up their minds.
While we're clarifying Flatwood and not Flathead,
yeah.
Where is Flatwood? Because I looked it up because I want to know, but there's like a Kentucky and Alabama, Tennessee.
West Virginia.
West Virginia was the next one.
Yep.
All right.
So, I believe not that far from the infamous Mothman's stomping grounds, which is another thing that we will cover. The only reason I brought that up is because I was researching this afternoon. There was a holy crap load of images of people shipping the Braxton County monster with the Mothman. Like, seriously, like, as a cute anime couple, and, like, here they are, like, an adorable little adventures together, and Mothman's playing a guitar, and the Braxton County monster's dancing, and, you know.
It's cute.
It's super cute. So, yeah, that's why...
there they are again.
That's why it came up. It seems to be a recurring theme, because they're kind of from a similar area, and both, like, super famous cryptids from that
where are you
part of the
from? Flatwood. Come here often.
Only when I'm here to steal people's dreams.
All right, I'll see you later.
Got some bridges to collapse.
Anyway, we should give people an idea of what we're talking about here. Let's see. In 1952, 5 children were playing football in a small town called, appropriately enough, Flatwoods, West Virginia, when a strange object appeared above them. Streaking across the sky, they watched it crest a nearby hill. Slowly, and then descend just over the top of the ridge. What followed after their sighting has become one of the most infamous local legends ever recorded. That night, 7 area residents encountered a hovering mechanical monstrosity that was described by an area newspaper as glowing, Frankenstein-like, and breathing fire. The event helped shepherd in the 50s obsession with flying saucers and alien life forms, and the green monster, now the name given to the creature, has become a pop culture figure for decades now.
I really feel like the video that we just watched talking about how the boys went up there and then the mom and all these things is really Courage the Cowardly Dog episode.
It really feels like that.
Yeah.
Like that dog was totally like Courage trying to be like, stay away, there's a giant robot.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I see.
Like, I literally looked it up to see if there's any reference to that in the Courage episode, because it feels like it.
I've actually never seen that cartoon, and I like cartoons.
It was like that. It was good.
Yeah,
it was very good.
It was good stuff. It was kind of the early golden era for Cartoon Network when it was just beginning like its first renaissance.
Gotcha.
It's like a really good Scooby-Doo. Like, it's a really good horror cartoon.
Oh, I would probably be into that.
Yeah.
So let's see. So it's that night at 7:15 p.m. on September 12th, 1952, 2 brothers, Edward and Fred May, and their friend Tommy Hayer, who was 18, said they saw a bright object in the sky cross the land from the property of a local farmer named Fisher. The boys went to the home of Kathleen May, who they told their story to. May, being the most responsible adult I've ever heard, accompanied the three boys and a bunch of local children, Neil Nunley and Ronnie Shaver.
It sounds like they were like, probably looked like they're going on a walk, and the other kids like, "Hey, what you doing, Mrs. May? Oh, we're gonna go check out this thing on the hill."
That's what it is,
Can
isn't
I
it?
come with?
It's a
Yeah,
Leave It
sure.
to Beaver 50s
Yeah.
thing where they're like, oh, they're going for a walk. I'll go for a walk with them too.
Mom, going for a walk. Okay, just be back.
And also accompanied by a National Guardsman. And I'm just named Eugene Lemon. I'm just like... So
Like, where the fuck did he come from? Was he just like...
he was also around to investigate the plane crash.
Everybody just wanders around in September?
It really is got a Scooby-Doo vibe going on right now. It's just like, man, there's so many people who just randomly hang out at this abandoned amusement park. It's just...
It's just so bizarre.
So, when our motley crew of random characters... Which, by the way, why is Eugene Lemon not with them when they see the machine, or is he?
Because he would have got away with it if it wasn't for you and your pesky podcast crew.
Yeah.
I don't think he is, because it doesn't really say that he's actually witnessing it.
Yeah, it's not listed as a witness of the actual
And honestly,
thing. So literally, the National Guardsmen let the small boys and the woman go, not to be sexist, but it's the 50s. The woman in a dress and the,
The
adolescent
kids.
boys
Yeah.
go investigate the glowing object that, for all he knew, could be like a KGB time delay bomb or...
Well, he was off that weekend, because National Guard only goes on like 1 weekend a month. So
2 weeks a year.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So that's probably why. He was like, I am National
that is
Guard.
That is a pretty cruel joke post 9/11, that...
I know. I'm terrible. Just kick me out now.
No, you're fine. I think of all my friends and family in the National Guard, and I'm just kind of like, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. Ha 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 ha.
I have a cousin that's in the National Guard, so I'm like...
You're familiar with the sarcasm going on there.
Yes.
So, okay. Well, we'll get back to the sponsor here. So they went to the Fisher farm to locate whatever it was that the boys had seen. The group reached the top of the hill where Nunley said they saw a pulsing red light. Lemon said they aimed a flashlight in the direction and momentarily saw a tall, man-like figure.
Oh, Lemon was there. He was the National Guard guy. Because it says Lemon, he aimed the flashlight.
Okay, so he was there. So wait, So he ran because he could outrun the boys. So because we see all these images in the artwork of screaming little boys running away from the monster.
And he's depicted in none of this.
Yeah, and the National Guard guy is depicted in none of this. So is you just the better runner?
I think that's exactly what it is.
Do alien attacks work like a bear attack? You don't have to be the fastest person. You just have to be the fastest person in your group.
That's right.
True.
Yeah,
It's true.
not the slowest.
I also find it disturbing how. Equally, all three of us were just like, yeah, that's totally the case. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Case solved.
A bear attacks this podcast crew. Rob is screwed. Yep.
I don't know, man.
No,
I'm slow.
believe me.
I'm
I
not-
can run slower than you.
I'm not really slow, but I'm easily distracted. I might stop and check something out. So you could be good.
We have a chance. We have a chance.
I got a chance.
Keep your eye on
say
the
I got a
prize.
chance.
But here's the thing that's interesting, though, is that when you're telling this story, you first hear there's several young boys outside playing, and then they get their mom. And then the mom, as they're walking to this location,
Let's get to National
picks
Guard.
up some hitchhiking little other boys in the neighborhood. And it's almost like an afterthought of hearing that, oh, there's a neighbor who's also in the National Guard, and he comes along. So you kind of forget that he's there, because all you see in your mind's eye, thanks to maybe movies or whatever, is this pack of boys and the mom. You kind of forget that there's also another adult.
You go ahead and let the boys go, Miss May. How are you doing? That's what it is.
So anyways, okay, keep going.
So, descriptions varied. In an article from Fate magazine based on his tape-recorded interviews, which I listened to this interview, by the way.
Oh.
And so this Gary Barker that recorded these interviews was very adamant that he believed the boys. Just throwing that out there. And he sounded genuine, but obviously, he writes for Fate magazine. He might be a little biased towards UFO stuff.
True.
But, he seemed sincere, and there's something to be said for that. So, they described a figure approximately 10 feet tall with a round, blood-red face and a large pointed hood-like shape around the face. Eye-like shapes which emitted a greenish-orange light, and a dark black and green body. Kathleen May described the figure as having small claw-like hands. See, yeah, and we just saw a video where they're just like, well, there are no arms. Maybe they were antenna.
Right.
But, so maybe just hands, like, literally like the 5 fingers of hands, not like arms to support them. So, eye-shaped, Kathleen described small hand. Yeah. Clothing-like folds. Basically, she said that, like, the skirting of it was kind of, like, pleated, but it's just kind of like, maybe it's just like the metal is just styled in that shape. I mean, who knows how aliens shape their killbots? Because I mean, you get the 1951 model, and then they come out with the 52 that's got the pleated skirt.
And it's a completely different body style.
And now my 1950 killbot from the Targaryen, nebula.
The rivets don't even line up.
Totally looks like shit.
Yeah.
It looks like a piece of shit. It's kind of like with appliances where they switch from like white is in and then black is in, so immediately all your white appliances look like shit.
Yes.
I don't even know what to do with the stainless steel stuff I have anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and then you like throw away all your chrome killbots, and then that comes back hardcore in the 60s, and it's like, fuck. I should have kept them. Should have kept the. But I only have so much room to store killbots in my flying saucers. Anyway. Yeah. So, according to the story, the figure made a hissing noise and glided toward the group. Lemon screamed and dropped... Okay, here we go. Lemon screamed and dropped his flashlight, causing the group to run away.
So he basically spooked their group into running away.
So the National Guardsmen scared the women and children into running, and then outran the women and children getting out of the forest with the big alien monster.
Not gonna lie, I have caused other people to freak out based on my own freak out, so I can understand that.
Kind of gives credence to the whole hysteria thing.
Yes.
I see a very Forrest Gump style run with him.
Yeah, with his like fingers even doing the crossing thing on his body as he runs. I gotta find Jenny, save her from the alien. Let's see. The group had smelled a pungent mist, which I apologize for that. No. Sometime later, they said, and they were nauseated. The local sheriff and deputy that had been investigating reports of the crashed aircraft in the area searched the spot where the monster had been, and they saw, heard, or smelled nothing. According to Baker's account, the next day, A. Lee Stewart Jr. Of the Braxton Democrat claimed to have discovered skid marks in the field, and
that's part of that pungent smell.
Yes, and in the field there was a old gummy deposit, which were subsequently attributed by UFO enthusiast groups as evidence of the saucer landing. Now, this description I have kind of breezes over what the video we just watched in preparation for this. That's right, we watch a 10-minute YouTube video, and that's our research. No, we do a little more than that. But no, they talked a lot more about because they're kind of blowing off the smell thing.
Yeah.
But the smell thing is quite dramatic in that they basically got mustard gassed, where their like throats swelled shut, and some of the boys couldn't drink water, and they were taken to the hospital. And that's what the doctor thought, as that they were exposed to like mustard or chlorine gas.
Because like one of the 18-year-old, he got violently ill.
Yeah.
From the whole ordeal. So it's not just like, ooh, a little bit of upset stomach. No, this is like, they got sick.
And then Kathleen May, they mentioned in the video that she gets squirted with
oil.
What we hope is oil and not like alien semen or something. But,
yeah. Well, I want to know, like, they probably didn't even, like, analyze her dress or anything like that. It was probably just like, she'll clean it. She's a housewife.
Well, they found some of the oil, and they sent it to the Air Force, and then the Air Force was like,
nothing.
They didn't even reply. They just, never got back. We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you on that.
Get back to you.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah,
Checks in the mail.
Pretty much.
Which this ties in a little bit with something I mentioned. We're going to do a whole episode just on the year 1952 and how it's such a bellwether for UFOs. But, because there's a lot to unpack here. But 52, the summer, because this takes place in September, but the summer of that year was the year that UFOs were just scrambling over Washington, D.C. like crazy. Like 6 to 10 sightings a night. And jet fighters being scrambled out of Delaware and Dulles Air Force Base, and chasing them around, and lots of like confirmed radar sightings, and then like glowing objects over the runways at Washington, around Washington D.C. It was a huge summer for UFOs, and one of the big consequences, and it might explain why the Air Force never got back to them and stuff like that, is this was kind of the beginnings of the UFO craze, and I believe Project Blue Book was going on at this time. And basically, between the Washington, D.C. thing and then this guy, this creature, the government kind of... Here's where they're at. They kind of got the idea, the CIA and Project Blue Book and others, that maybe this is all supposed to generate hysteria. Because if you're a foreign government and you're looking at ways to, cover up an invasion or move around, do some clandestine shit, a great way with Americans, apparently, after the War of the Worlds broadcast would be they're really, really jumpy about the whole alien invasion thing. And aliens are so hot right now. What was what some KGB officer would say back then in perfect English for some reason. And so their thinking is, well, this could be a Soviet plot to create panic and confusion and mistrust and blah blah blah, hysteria. It's going to create panic in the United States. So the Air Force, they changed the directive of Project Blue Book, and everybody in the Air Force that was involved in touching anything with UFOs was only talk about the incidents and comment on incidents that you can debunk, and don't at all talk about ones you can't debunk, and debunk the ones you can debunk as quickly as possible.
Oh, jeez.
And so basically, and I think that's where some of the ideas of a cover-up come from, is the whole just total shutdown of information. It's just well, were they covering stuff up, or were they trying to suppress what they thought was developing mass hysteria?
Right.
Which is interesting because it's almost like they didn't have some psychology professors helping them or something, explaining that actually being all fucking creepy and shutting down everything about it and being all hush-hush and telling people not to talk about it just stirs more conspiracy shit.
Yes.
Okay, you're clearly covering shit up. It's so there you go. It's your Men in Black stories and stuff like that. It's was it a government agent telling someone, it's don't, talk about UFOs? Is it actually an official who was really saying that, but it was more because that was their instruction to just blanket America and don't talk about UFOs because we're afraid that it's a mass hysteria thing and it's being used as a weapon against America? And then, height of the Cold War. So it was totally in their mind. It was the height of the Red Scare, too. So that you're paranoid. It's take your Cold War paranoia and bump it up to 11. So, yeah.
That's pretty frightening.
It is frightening. The real monsters in this story
are ourselves.
Man. Yes.
It's us. We're the monsters.
We were the real monsters the whole time.
We were.
Oh, God. Okay, so this story ended up being rated the number 11 story for all of 1952. And, the other thing was all the UFOs and craziness over Washington, D.C.
You know what's really interesting?
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the movie called Planet 51?
Negative.
No.
That's not surprising, considering that it was released on a weekend that I think a Twilight film was released. I don't know, a really big film was released at the same time that Planet 51 was released. And Dominic and I went, I don't know why we got it in our heads to see this movie, but we're just let's go see this movie, Planet 51. It's an animated feature. It looks pretty good. So, you want to do Planet? You said Planet. There it is. Okay, Planet 51. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is actually the star of this film.
Oh, I think I've seen this.
It's so cute. But this is kind of reminding me of this. And so, this is kind of my theory. So, it's this alien planet, and they are in the 50s. They're experiencing their 50s and kind of their own alien scare. Their aliens are in their media and their culture.
Sociological, psychological, theological implications that apparently all civilizations experience in American 1950s at some point.
Yep, absolutely. And he's a NASA he's a NASA astronaut, and his spacecraft crash lands on this planet. Well, NASA had sent actually a little rover to this planet to make sure if there was any life on this planet. Well, it turns out that the rover robot is obsessed with rocks. So all they thought that this planet was covered in was just rocks, not actual green aliens, and so, but technically he's the alien because he's on their planet. You know, anyways, so that's a whole different thing. But
I like how their dog looks like the xenomorph.
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah, there's a lot of it's such a good movie. Like, there's so many like references to like other films and stuff in it, but it's kind of reminding me of like their own scare, and like the fact that it's 51, which is like, you could say 51, 52 is like the start of like the aliens.
That's why it's called Planet 51. Oh.
But also Area 51.
Oh, I just got it now. Okay.
So that's why, you know, then it's this whole transformation for the planet to realize that, you know, the alien isn't bad. It's actually, you know, he's actually beneficial, et cetera, et cetera. So, and
Does
then
he get to eat their version of Reese's Pieces?
I don't recall him really eating, but like his adventure takes place over like the course of several days. But based off of this drawing of the Flatwoods monster, the character, the astronaut in Planet 51 it's very similar. Like, it's very like, because their alien monster was basically an astronaut with a big eyeball, and that was like, that's how he looked. So it's kind of like I wonder what this alien actually was, you know, and you know, this is our interpretation of it, but really it doesn't look anything like that. So anyways,
yeah, kind of the whole, all the artwork shows arms, but
there's
it's probably antennas is what the actual people that saw it said.
Right. So yeah, so it was just kind of interesting the correlations I can kind of see between the movie and then the Flatwoods monster.
What do you guys think of the barn owl hypothesis?
I think it's a really good one, and I'm pro alien, but
do you think, I don't know, because
Mothman has also been said that it could just be a barn owl, and it was just like a timing of events.
Oh, we'll get to that.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just kind of saying that
we're this group. We're not ready for high strangeness yet. the weird fucking shit, like the guy landing his UFO next to your car while you're parked by the road, and then asking for directions, and then getting back into his UFO and flying away. Kind of like what they call high strangeness. That comes in with, and like Men in Black, and plus the Mothman, plus the bridge clap. Mm-hmm. That's a whole thing we'll unpack. But we're not ready for that yet. We're warming up with Flatwoods.
Gotcha.
We'll get to Mothman.
Okay. Well, in that case, I think it's plausible that it could be a barn owl. However, based off of everyone's eyewitness account and all of the drawings from each of the individuals of what they saw, there's no way that it was an owl. I just don't think that it is an owl. I think it could be, but I don't think it is.
Unless it flew at you with its wings tucked.
Exactly, yeah.
And sprayed oil.
Yeah.
And then when owls fly, I would... I was about to say that they'd be moving too fast, but they don't fly like hawks. Right. Owls actually fly pretty slowly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so that could give you the hover effect. So, I mean, it's a damn good theory if you're going to come up with a skeptical theory for it.
Yeah, like, I feel like that would be the skeptics, like...
I'm going to say it's like a whole concoction of wildlife, of skunks and... I don't know, octopi inking out of trees?
What's that?
I don't think skunks have spaceship technology yet, though.
Yeah, but they have the odor and the...
Sure.
What's that one, that fairy...
It's
not a fairy tale, but it's like there's a dog, there's a cat, there's a horse or a cow or whatever, and they all pile up on top of each other because they want to be musicians and they want to sing, and and they're all awful singers, but they all sing together, like... It's like all these creatures like stacked up on top of each other, and they go around singing their song. Oh, I have to figure it out now. But is it like maybe like that where these, you know?
Nope.
Oh, you think that like it was a bunch of raccoons with a barn owl on top and a trench coat?
Yeah, it could have been like, we could go like a wolf, a raccoon, an owl, and they all just want to be like pals and stuff.
I get it.
Protecting their turf, saying get out of here.
That's as probable as it being like an alien life form from another planet.
That's true, I'll give you that.
Now I gotta look this up. This is gonna... That is not...
I don't really have an answer. Like, the metallic, like, body thing kind of throws me off. Because I don't know. I mean, obviously pretty much everything will glisten under the light of the moon.
It's the musicians of Bremen. Sorry.
I have never heard of that.
You've never heard of it?
I've never heard of it.
Oh my god, I grew up with this. It's a popular fairy tale retrieved and recorded by the Brothers Grimm. It was first published in blah, blah, blah. It tells the story of 4 aging domestic animals who, after a lifetime of hard work, are neglected and mistreated by their former masters. Eventually, they decide to run away and become town musicians in the city of Bremen. Contrary to the story's title, the characters never arrive in Bremen. Oh, that's sad. And as they succeed in tricking and scaring off a band of robbers, capturing their spoils, and moving into their house. So there's like a picture. It's basically, it's a donkey, a dog. Is that a monkey? No, it's a cat. It's a cat. And then a rooster. So they're all like 8.
See, I thought this was like an animated movie you were describing.
No.
This
It's
is
an actual Grimm.
It's a Brothers Grimm fairy tale.
Yeah.
Damn.
I used to read all those stories. My mom had like these like massive books of the Grimm's stories. So
Sure.
I grew up reading those. So that's why I'm wondering, Travis, of what you're trying to get at earlier about like the animals like all stacked up on top of each other.
No, but that's interesting though.
Well, now you know about a story that you...
All right.
You're just a buzzkill tonight.
So one guy said that it was a meteor, is what they seen.
Yeah.
And another guy said it was the airplane beacon
So
tower.
there's an airplane beacon tower that's shining a red light.
Yes.
And that
Okay.
can produce the shining, pulsing
orb
red.
thing.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that require power like that unless the whole tower just fell over?
Well, I don't think that it's that the tower fell over. It's kind of those big
Right.
ones where it's casting red light
Oh,
in that
okay.
direction.
I got you.
And then wouldn't this be duplicatable though? You know what I mean? If it was something so basic, you could at least duplicate that
Right.
light. At least the light.
So even if it was a meteor, it would be actually documented somewhere. And then is there like we should really research like the weather conditions of that time. If it was super windy, like anything could have just been hurling through the air. Like there could have been a tornado and just thrown like.
But they said it was a red glowing object hurtling through the sky, and then that crash landed
So
on...
it could have been that beacon reflecting off debris from a tornado, like barn aluminum or tin, rippled barn tin.
But it's 20 feet long.
Yeah, but there's no depth perception in the dark.
Well, I can't say yes or
Is
no
it
to
actually
that.
true?
I don't know about that. I don't think so. I think there
Okay.
is. I think there is. I mean, otherwise pilots wouldn't be able to do shit in the dark.
Well,
you know what I
they-
mean? Like,
GPS
Yeah.
ish, and they know if they're gonna hit something. But I mean, they have the horizon and all that.
yeah, but I mean, before that, I mean, they didn't.
No, they just ran into stuff all the time. It's like putting a white dot on.
But I mean, like,
putting
you have depth perception in the dark.
put a dot on a white piece of paper or surround yourself in a white room. You really don't know how big the dot is. Is it small and far away, or is it small and up close?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So, and then put that reflecting light off, but you really don't know how far it is, so you don't know how big it is.
But when they got to the site, though, that's when they saw the size of it.
They think. Maybe they're like, that's really far away, but it's like 4 inches from their nose.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
What about the leak? The oily
Yeah,
stuff?
the oil.
Man, that was a whole truck that got hurled through the air, and that's what they seen, and the hazards were on. And
You sound like Will Smith when he's like coming up with his version of the neuralizer, like the backstories for like
That's what
what
it
you
is.
saw was some swamp gads coming off Venus.
That's exactly what it was. He knows what's up.
There you go. So
I don't know. I don't know.
I know, it's hard. It's hard to be a
Life is
skeptic.
hard. I don't really know about this alien dude. Just because it looks so, like, unlike any other alien depicted.
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
very unique.
And it's weird that everything we've seen or read or watched has been, like, an iconic alien. I'm like, I ain't never seen nothing like this.
Yeah, because even when they were talking about the hood, what I was reading, I was like, I wasn't picturing that. I was picturing the classic, like, gray man.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I picked this one, was because
Yeah.
I was like, this is unique. Because it's like we can get so in the weeds on so many different UFO encounter stories and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. But this one's a good one just because it's, especially like with it's not a classic abduction scenario, It's not a...
This could be like a whole astronaut farmer story.
Yeah.
I mean, some dude just making stuff.
It's just weird.
It could be, absolutely.
I think the National Guard guy was probably making some astronaut farmer stuff, didn't want to be accountable for it, and like, I don't know what this is, kids, you need to go check that out.
And then he pretends to be afraid and like run away.
Exactly, like, y'all need to get out of here so I can hide this thing.
Right. So then he actually circles back and hides the shit.
Yep.
Gotcha. I can see
and
that.
And he might have soiled the Mrs. Dress.
But then how does somebody has a tattoo of this shit? Oh my god. How do you explain though the object flying through the sky?
It was a kite. It was a kite.
It's just a big ass kite.
Yeah.
Big ass red glowing kite.
Kite. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It was. I don't know.
That's fine. You don't have to know. I don't know either.
That's what this is all about. We need to know. We need to get to the bottom.
I like that drawing the best.
This is the one that looks like it's the most accurate to what was actually described.
Yes.
So everyone else is trying to put freaking arms on him, and there were no freaking arms.
Just antennae.
So the hissing noise was obviously like the propulsion system. I don't think it actually hissed at people. I think it was just the propulsion system to make it hover and go after the people.
Sure.
So that's solved. That's done.
We solved the mystery. Case closed. Moving up.
Solved the mystery of the hissing noise.
We're all gonna pat ourselves on the back and head home.
I don't know.
See? People are trying to ship them.
You can't ship... Oh, God. All right. Their chromosomes don't even probably match. They can't, like, you know...
And wouldn't it be funny if the Flatwoods monster or the Mothman are real, and they're like, well, that's total bullshit. There's no such thing as a, the other thing. And then they, like, do meet each other and, like, holy fucking shit. They're like, mind blown.
Yes. You're real. I thought you were fake. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Yep.
Yeah, this is... It's... I'm just amazed at how many eyewitnesses there were and how they all just kind of trotted along for the adventure and then they got like way more than what they bargained for.
I don't think that... I mean, okay, so we're linking that 11-minute video, right?
Oh, yeah.
For people to watch. So it was very detailed as like times and like what dogs were there. Which seems a little forced to me. To have that information?
I don't think so because it's part of the events. It's important to note that yes, there were 2 dogs there, and this is the behavior of the animals at the time.
I think it's because it was investigated sincerely, so you have police style, like, just the facts, ma'am. Okay, at this time, this person did this thing, this person did this thing.
In 1952, how many people actually had a clock readily available out on the farm?
Okay,
but watch?
Yeah.
Well, there's watches.
Yeah?
Everybody has watches.
Everybody?
Except the kids.
Okay.
But Mrs. May, that's her name, right? May and Lemon, they probably definitely had a watch on them.
I suppose he might have.
Because she needs to know when shit goes down, like bedtimes and stuff like that.
She just senses that. That's a mother's sense.
Aw, the Mothman's giving her a little gift.
That's so sweet.
Aww.
We're not going to talk about the Mothman today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert.
Yeah,
okay.
You gave me the rule. Well, we can allude to their relationship a little bit. I'm really interested in what the fanfic looks like for Mothman and the Flatwoods monster.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Did you find some?
No, I just think the concept that we human beings, like, maybe we're that planet. They fly by it. Oh, that's the planet where they're all like, who's fucking who and what's fucking what, and they're just like totally obsessed with reproduction, and they're just like they'll just like put anything in a relationship. Those apes down there, they're fucking crazy, literally
all the time. Yes.
It's like, now let's continue to reproduce via molting or something like that.
Asexual reproduction.
Yep.
Yes. Oh my God.
So yeah, that is the Flatwoods monster, and I don't get it. I don't think we've yeah, it's obviously there's some of these where we're not gonna.
No,
I don't have a strong opinion on this one as far as like, oh, it was definitely fake or it was definitely real, and that's why I pick these the ambiguous ones that are hard to
Gotcha.
tell.
I think this is one that was just a good, weird topic because probably not a lot of people know about it.
Yeah, it's
Honestly.
very popular in like West Virginia, Pennsylvania, kind of that area, and they're like their local folklore.
Right.
But yeah, I had not heard of this until I really started getting into these like paranormal investigations. Like, and even then, for as unique as the alien is, I feel like you do not see a lot about this particular encounter,
Yeah.
which is. Yeah, weird, because I think they'd be jumping at a chance to talk about one that isn't a gray, you know?
Right. Well, I don't know. I think people there maybe a general consensus about West Virginia is that they're all kind of crazy anyways, and so.
See, and that's unfortunate.
But
and that,
it was
and
also in the 50s, so this is like a long time ago for a
Yep.
lot of people.
But you know, the whole West Virginia thing, that's a very real factor.
Yes.
Because that Kirkwood incident with the little goblin aliens that we're going to talk about, that one takes place, I'm pretty sure, in West Virginia, or like not far from here.
Right.
And that was a big part of it, was that they were like, oh, it's drunken hillbillies in the Appalachians. So it's kind of the like a lot
Oh,
of the
sure.
like consensus
Yeah.
of city people at the time, and
Yep.
why it didn't get as much play as literally people like exchanging gunfire with aliens should be, that kind of story. But you know, with that one, and I think it's funny that they had to note that actually they were all visiting their mom's house, and that's where this happened.
Yes.
So none of them were drinking because mother didn't allow alcohol in the house.
Right.
So it's just like, but the fact that they even had to say that,
Say
it's just
that.
like, okay, because that's your stereotype, and that's what your average Joe Blow, politically incorrect man on the street in the 50s is thinking about a bunch of guys from West Virginia.
Exactly. I actually have a lot of family in the West Virginia and Pennsylvania area.
Oh,
Like, that's where my family originates
I'm glad
from.
I was guarded about
No.
throwing out the insults.
Nope, you're fine. It's totally fine. I don't know them personally. I know a couple of them, but not all of them. So, but I could ask a few of them about, you know.
And they're just going to be like,
I mean, I
so
was
you haven't
afraid.
talked to us in our entire lives. And all of a sudden you come out of the woodwork to ask us about the freaking Flatwoods monster?
We're part of the estranged branch of the family that, like, moved away because of a situation.
Family dynastic struggle?
Well, so, okay. So here it is. My great-grandfather, his mom got with this guy. We'll call him Tom, okay? So this was in, like, 1912. They slept together out of wedlock and she ended up pregnant with my great-grandfather. Well, then Tom decides that he doesn't like my great-great-grandmother, but he sure likes her sister. So
Oh, snap.
so he ends up marrying her sister, that bitch, by the way, and they end up having like 7 kids together. Meanwhile, my great-great-grandmother remarries another guy, and they have 7 kids together. So my great-grandfather now has 14 half-siblings. But because it was kind of taboo at the time for someone to have a baby out of wedlock, my great-great-great-grandparents, so basically we'll call her Grandma Melissa, will say her parents adopted my great-grandfather and basically included him on the census and said that he was their son and just kind of treated him like their son.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of like, that's that whole family that lives up in Pennsylvania, and there's like a fuck ton of them, and he got tired, I guess, of the way he was being treated in the community and everything, and ended up moving out west. You right there?
Yeah.
Was that a bug? Was that bug?
That bug, yep.
Do you need a minute?
Nope, we're fine. Power through.
Okay, all right. So anyways, so he moved out west and then ended up in South Dakota, and so we're that branch of the family that made it out this far. Otherwise, the majority of them are kind of in that area still. And so Show in that area is like a Johnson or a Smith, you know?
Yeah.
So there's just so many. And every year they have a family reunion, and a church actually dedicated one of their outdoor pavilions to our family.
Aw.
Yeah, kind of sweet. Because we show up at the third week or like the second week of August every year, so they were like, might as well just name it after the show family.
Might as well.
They're going to show up anyways.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So maybe I can ask one of my distant cousins about this.
So if you ever have your own show, will it be the Ari Show?
Okay, well, funny story. So I'm actually launching a show right now. And I told my brother I was changing my online presence from Ari Show to Ari Nicole, and I'm actually producing a show. And my brother was like, "Aren't you afraid that Dad's going to be upset about forsaking the family name or some bullshit?" He's just bullshitting me,
right?
And I'm like, "No, like, because he won't care." But second of all, like, literally, my show will be called the Ari Nicole Show. So I'm still, like, my last name is still in there. It's just not as obvious.
So you get a little inside track. You got a show cooking up that's coming out?
Yeah. Actually,
okay.
I was going to hold on to it, and we're going to launch it in August. Okay. So, yeah.
So that when this comes out, that'll be...
then that's perfect. So I'm not like, oh, I just realized I just let it loose. But, yeah, so that's kind of my thing that's going on right now. And we'll see how it goes.
And
that'll be strictly on YouTube.
Very cool. Travis, I know you've got something that'll be cooking up in October.
I think I do.
Okay.
I think I do.
Interesting.
I don't know. What are you referring to?
Magician Among the Spirits?
Yeah, there you go. I just wanted you to call it out, not me.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. I actually have 3 somethings because it'll have 3 dates. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of just a live tribute to Harry Houdini. I'm trying to avoid using the word magic show because it's not really a magic show. It's more of an experience, storytelling, adventure, research, kind of going through his research.
An interactive experience.
It is. And the thing that I'm really most excited about is every show is going to be different because the audience decides the outcome.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's going to be...
You didn't say that.
Well, I can't spill all the beans. Got to hold on to some, as you said.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to decide what weekend we want to go.
Yeah, so you might as well come to all of them because they're all going to be different.
God damn it, Travis.
Just kidding. For the most part, they'll all be the same, but it's going to be heavily involved with the audience and the storytelling. And to kind of give you a glimpse of how that's going to happen is Houdini focused a lot on spiritualism, medium, psychic, stuff like that during his later part of his life. And as I'm not a person who can do those things, we're going to recreate a moment that the audience comes up with on the fly of a date, a time, an event, what happened to who, how did it happen, and then perform that as a medium experiment.
Interesting.
Cool.
Sounds very cool.
Yeah.
Keep us here at Macabre Grimoire posted. And
Absolutely.
yeah. So that sounds fun. And me, I'm up to my usual podcast hijinks and misadventures. So be sure to check all those out at thesioempire.com. Let's see. Anything else on the Flatwoods Monster? Going once, going twice.
I
think we've covered it. Well, as much as you can, because it's just a big question mark. But if you want to follow our misadventures, be sure to check us out on Patreon. And also, once again, we always appreciate your reviews. Be sure to send us your scary stories and paranormal stuff. We'd love to talk to you about them. Yeah, and thank you so much for listening, and we will see you all next time.
Macabre Grimoire is a production of thesioempire.com. Learn more at macabregrimoire.com.
Last night